Hi, my name is Moti Sagi and I'm a senior security consultant in Aladdin Company. This lecture will focus on Introduction to Information Security. This is Module 1, Lecture 1. Okay, so let's see the lecture outline. We'll start by defining what is security. We'll continue with threats and attacks. We'll see types of threat and attacks, examples, and means to do the attacks. We'll continue with hacker classification. We'll see that there's black-white hackers, white hat hackers, and also gray hat hackers. We'll see all this when we continue. We'll continue with types of hacking. We'll see that it can be many reasons to hack, starting from political reasons, from racism, from all kinds of reasons. And we'll finish with hacker information resources. Okay, so the world we live in basically comprises of a lot of electronic devices. One of which that we can see is personal computers. It can be either in the home or in your office. Another type of electronics devices is data servers. Think of World Wide Web, CNN.com. This is a web server. Think of a big database that holds your bank account records. This is another type of servers. Another type is phone systems. Cellular phones, terminals, switches, routers, all that types are basically types of phone systems. As we said, cellular phones, we have many types of cellular phones that we can use. Some can use voice recognition. Some can also do something called MMS, multimedia messaging, video streaming, and of course data. You can surf the internet using your cellular phone. Handled appliances, Pocket PC, Palm Pilot, GPSs, laptops, basically whatever you can hold in your hand. We also have wireless communication. Let's say I have a laptop. I go to the airport. I want to surf the internet. They have a wireless connection there. I can surf the internet in the airport or in any hotspot like Starbucks or any coffee house that you can think of. Information kiosks. Think of a place that has a dedicated computer that you can surf the internet. It's called a kiosk because anyone can use it. Television system. We have cable, satellite, free air. Basically, it's the way you watch TV. We also have embedded systems. Think of a media center in your car or any home appliance like an oven even that has an IP address that you can use before you come home. You can preheat it, or think of an air conditioner that basically has an IP address, and while you're driving home you can turn it on from the distance. And many other systems. Any electronic device would be a good example for it. Okay, so what is security basically? On the one hand is making sure bad things do not happen, reducing the chances that bad things will happen. So if already I have bad things happen, I want it to be the less effect it can, lowering the impact of bad things, and providing means to recover from bad things. On the other hand, I want to make sure that I will allow good things to happen and managing the cost of the system. What I mean by that is that let's say I have a house that I want to protect, and what I have in the house is worth like $10,000. It would be foolish to spend $20,000 to protect what I have. So basically that's what I mean by managing the cost of the system. It's also called TCO, total cost of ownership. An example that, as we said, is home security. We also have car security, all kinds of alarms and stuff like that. We have many security challenges. One of them is securing a variety of different systems. As we saw before at the previous slides, we have many kinds of systems, of electronical systems like cell phones, laptops, computers. We have many kinds of operating systems. Think of Windows, think of Linux, think of Mac, and we also have to secure the interfaces between those different systems. We need to support different security goals and needs. We need that to make sure that attackers seek the weakest link in the system. So we need to make sure that all the links in the system are strong. Because let's say you have a house and you put like 20 locks on your front door, but your window is open. So the one who's breaking in the house will probably use the window. So we need to make sure that we protect all elements of the equation. Also, security must protect all the links in the system. As we said before, we want to protect all the links, all the openings in your system. Once again, the example of the house that has doors and the window, we need to be able that all of these things are protected, are closed, are locked. And, of course, we need to maintain system usability. Think of the house that we locked using 20 locks. We also need to be able, for a normal person who comes to open the door, that we will be able to do it in a timely fashion. Keeping security costs under control, like we said, total cost of ownership. We want to basically spend less money on securing from what's the merchandise is worth. Let's say I have $10,000 merchandise. I wouldn't want to spend $20,000 protecting it. Now let's see some type of threats. The first threat is data leaks, which is basically, for example, I don't want my bank account records to leak to anyone that will know how much money I have in my account. Another type of threat is data manipulation. Think of a student that has his grades online in university and will basically change his grades in the database. Another type of threats is data fraud. Data fraud basically means that I'm manipulating the data, but while I'm doing it, I'm cheating and I'm breaking the law. Another thing is data theft. Think of I have an exam in university and I managed to hack into the system and pre-take it, and basically I have all the questions. Another type of threat is data destruction. Let's say I have a bad driving records and I want to basically erase the data in the DMV records. Another type of threat is program manipulation. It means that a program in my computer, I'm able to manipulate it to do whatever I want. Let's say a web server hosts some kind of information, and I'm changing the homepage of the server. So instead of CNN.com displaying the current news, it will say hacked by this and this hacker. Okay, so let's see some types of attacks. The first one will be unauthorized access. Let's say my name is Moti, and I'm not allowed to access a console at university, and I steal the password of my friend Bob and log on to the computer. This is unauthorized access. Another type is system integrity loss. I managed to capture a message being sent from party A to party B, and I basically modify the message and thus breaking the integrity of the message. Another type of attack is denial of service attack, also known as DOS attack. Denial of service attack basically floods the server with unlegitimate traffic, and the server basically has backlog queue of this unlegitimate request, and by that it cannot provide legitimate access to legitimate users. Another type of attack is computer viruses and worms. Virus we'll see in the later lectures, but basically think of it as a bad program on your computer that does damage. Trojan horses. Trojan horses is basically a program that is a backdoor on your computer, and a remote attacker can basically remote control your computer and do whatever he wants with your data and applications. Another type of attack is spyware or adware. Spyware or adware basically spies your computer, spies your surfing habits, and report it to another web server in order for the web server to give you the specific advertisement, specific suggestions to what to wear, what to drink, what to eat, and etc., etc. Another type of attack is spam, hoax, or phishing. Spam is basically an email you get which you're not supposed to get. It's mainly advertisements of Viagra or all kinds of products that you didn't really ask to get, but a lot of spammers tend to send it in potential that you're going to buy their products. A hoax is an email you get that basically tells you that there's a new threat of a big virus that's going to destroy your computer, and everything will be erased and stuff, and they ask you to send it to all your friends. Their ulterior motive basically here is to create a load on the internet web servers and mail servers, creating denial of service attack that we said before. Phishing is basically a user thinks he's going to a legitimate website, however he's going to a hacker website that he wants to steal your user credentials to use it to steal your money, to steal your records, or to basically do an identity theft. Another type of attack is information loss. Information loss basically, the example I said before of bad driving records or bad credit records, that I personally think that if it was destroyed, I would have a better life. So I would hack into the system and basically erase the data, and then the information will be lost. And we'll see in the later slides and later lectures many types of attacks. Okay, so let's start with some examples of some security breaches. This is quite interesting. In 1988, there was something called the Morris Worm. Robert Morris was the son of a security expert in the NSA. NSA stands for National Security Agency of United States of America. And he was a student in Cornell University. Think that at that time in 1988, there wasn't many computers on the internet. There was like around 20,000 computers. So he basically he released a worm that infected more than 6,000 computers, which is astronomous number. Nowadays it would be like a few millions computers. More computers were disconnected or turned off to avoid infection, because if it would stay on, they would basically get the worm. So the estimated damage was between $10 and $100 million. Morris was convicted, but however, he was not sentenced to do real time in jail. He was sentenced to probation and 400 hours of community service and a fine of $10,000. What's funny, the funny thing is that now he's an associate professor in MIT, a very prestigious job. In 1994, we see an example of hacking into Citibank. Vladimir Levin, he was a young Russian hacker. He was from St. Petersburg. He broke into Citibank computer and stole $10 million. They managed to apprehend him, and he did return all the money, but all but $400,000 were eventually recovered. We speculate that an organized crime was behind the incident, the mafia, the Russian mafia, which sent him to do that to get some money. Levin was sentenced to do real time in jail. He was sentenced to 36 months in prison. Another type we can see here is we see a screenshot of the CNN. Basically, it says that a computer hacker plants porno on Air Force webpage. In 1996, the Department of Justice, the CIA, and the Air Force homepages were defaced by vandals. When we say defaced, it means that the homepage was actually replaced by a homepage of a hacker. Thus, it's called defacement, because the face was changed. The face of the homepage was changed. In 1999, we have the Melissa virus. Melissa virus did not do actually real damage on the computer. What it did was to create a denial of service attack on all the mail servers all over the world. I was around then, and you saw like mail servers basically like the domino effect or the ripple effect, basically crashing one by one. It was spread by via email. It had a Word document as an attachment, and anyone who launched the Word document had inside of it a macro, which means like an embedded executable file. And what the macro did is basically sent the email to the first 50 email addresses found in the address book. It was written by David Smith, who included his girlfriend name in Melissa's code. So his girlfriend name was Melissa, and this is why the virus is called Melissa. David was convicted of causing $80 million in damage and was sentenced to 20 months prison and a $5,000 fine. Another example, which was a very, very destructive worm and virus, was Code Red. It was in 2001. Basically, it was something called a buffer overflow attack. It attacked any computer who was running Microsoft IIS web server, which is the most common web server software nowadays. Think of Google, Gmail, Microsoft.com. They all use the IIS web server as their web service application. In the first 10 minutes of its spreading in the world, it infected 20,000 computers. 9 hours later, already 250,000 was infected. And basically what it did, it created a huge amount of traffic over the internet using port 80, and any web server that was not patched with the latest Windows update was basically infected. 20 to 27 days after installed, it launched a DOS attack, a denial of service attack, as we said before, against fixed IP addresses, including the White House web server. The White House web server had to change its IP address. We'll see in the continuation that we have a DNS server, which is the FQDN, the fully qualified domain name of the White House, and it translates it to an IP address. And the Code Red virus basically attacked the IP address, so the White House changed its web server's IP address in order to avoid that attack. In 2004, we see the MyDoom worm. It was a virus that it's called blended threat. It was sent during various channels of transport, such as Kazaa, email, file sharing applications such as Emule. We see like many ways that a person could have gotten the virus. In Kazaa, if you downloaded stuff such as ICQ 2000 or something called rootkit.exe, you would get the virus embedded into the file. You would think you're downloading ICQ, but actually it was a spoofed file that contained the MyDoom virus. At some point, more than 40% of the internet traffic was MyDoom messages. MyDoom used a few ports to propagate. One of them was port 445 TCP, which is the Microsoft NetBIOS protocol. And another way was TFTP or FTP, which is for transferring files. Total of hundreds of millions of email messages. It basically created a denial of service attack of email messages. The virus itself was not, once again, it was not destructive to the personal computer. It did not make it run slower or something such as other viruses. It created a denial of service attack on the internet. We see that it was 40% of the internet traffic. It was also used by spammers to send spam through infected computers. Your computer, which was running that got infected from the MyDoom virus, it became a bot. A bot is basically a computer that is being remote controlled by the hacker, and when the hacker wants, the computer would send an email and spam all the traffic of the internet. A week after spreading, about 1 million infected computers began a distributed denial of service attacks. it began attacking a web server called SCO.com, which was a company that was against Linux. It basically sued Red Hat, a company that said that they need to pay them money to use the Linux distribution, which is supposedly supposed to be free, supposed to be open source. 7 months later, a variant of MyDoom attacked search engine websites Google, AltaVista, and Lycos. Now let's see some types of techniques hackers use in order to create their attacks. The first type is eavesdropping and packet sniffing. The description is acquiring information without changing it. So think of it as like listening in the room to the conversation that's happening. I want to show you a demonstration of a sniffer I have on my laptop that you'll see what is packet sniffing. So I'm changing to a window of a sniffer. This is a sniffer program called Ethereal. It's a free software that you can download at ethereal.com. And now we'll see a session that I'm going to start sniffing the network. Now I'm capturing the traffic happening here. Now let me just surf to google.com. OK, I surfed google.com. And I can see here at the sniffer output, let me do some zoom. I can see basically what's happening. This is like the transcript of all the traffic that was generated by my laptop and also by other laptops in my local area network. I see that my computer address is 192.168.0.4, and it's going to a broadcast address. It's doing an ARP protocol. I can see all the details of what's happening, including username and passwords. Now I see that I go to google.com, and I'm using the HTTP protocol 1.1. In the future lectures, we're going to basically learn all the details about these things. OK, so as we said, the means of sniffing the network we're in is packet sniffers, wireless gateway, capturing and filtering out packets, like we saw in the Ethereal. Threats sniffing can be used to catch information sent over the networks. Like we said, login and password, username and password, credit card numbers, email and other messages, and also traffic analysis. I can see that most of the traffic is mail traffic, or most of the traffic is web traffic, and et cetera, encrypted traffic, and so on. Another type of hacker methods is snooping. Snooping basically means acquiring information without modifying it. It's like sniffing, but it's not really network-related sniffing. It means that I'm browsing documents on disk or main memory. Let's say I get an access of a computer, or from the network, I log on to another computer. I use legitimate privileges, or I hack into the system from the outside, such as stealing laptops, monitoring keyboard strokes, it's called keylogging, and observing timing information. It's like covert channels. Threats, obtaining sensitive information and discovering passwords, secret keys, etc. Another type of hacker methods is tampering. Tampering means modifying or destroying stored data. So as we said before, insiders misusing privileges, or outsiders breaking into systems. Think as we said that I have a bad credit record or bad driving record, and I'm basically hacking into the system, into the web server of the DMV record or of the credit card company, and I'm changing my records in order for me to have a better record. Threats, as we said, change records, school grades, prison records, taxpayers' debts, New York 13 million property tax fraud. The example basically means that in 1999, someone had a tax debt of $13 million, and he basically he had a hacker working for him and erasing that debt. And another type of tampering is planning a Trojan for password gaining. Spoofing. Spoofing is impersonating other users or computers to obtain privileges. Recent research shows that many users store their passwords in the proximity of like 1 meter of their computer. Most of them put a sticky note on the monitor that shows the password, or under the keyboard, or in the drawer next to their desk. And when I do spoofing, I basically impersonating, or I'm stealing the identity of the user I'm impersonating for. Means for it is account stealing, password guessing, social engineering. Social engineering is basically obtaining illegitimate information while conducting a social conversation. We also have email forging, IP spoofing, false IP from address, and IP connection hijacking. We'll see in much more details in later lectures of all these attacks. Threats, forged messages. We have a funny example of Damas exam is cancelled. Damas was a student in Cornell University, and he sent an email impersonating to be the secretary of the university, telling all the students that the exam was cancelled, and indeed it was not cancelled, but most of the students did not show up for the exam. We also have denial of service attacks, IP attacks, SYN attacks, and ping of death. We'll see about ping of death later on. And we have information sniffing, Princeton www spoofing attack. This was an attack that a hacker basically forged the page of Princeton web server. You can see in Princeton, I'll show the arrow on my slide. You see this I. This I, when you type the digit 1, it looks almost the same. So basically what he did, he changed the Princeton. He bought the domain Princeton, but instead with an I with the digit 1, and changed the web page and sent an email for the Princeton students, changing the home page of Princeton. Jamming. Jamming is disabling a system or service. So it's more like of a denial of service attacks, and it creates exhaustive or brute force illegitimate traffic until the server is exhausted of its resources. Spoofing returns address to avoid tracing. Basically, it means I'm changing my from IP address that no one will be able to trace me and basically send me in jail. Threats consume all resources on the attacked machines. Example given, memory or disk, email attack, or exploit bug to shut down host, ping of death. A little bit details of ping of death. It's a specially crafted packet of ping. Ping, if we show, is like that. Let's say I do ping to an address. I basically test connection to a remote server. What I see here that it gives me a reply, and also the access times, which is in this example, it's for example 300 milliseconds. But ping of death is a specially crafted packet that when I send it, basically the computer crashes. It was very common in the time of Windows 95 that hackers wanted to crash systems. They had a software that was called ping of death, or WinNuke, that basically was able to crash the destination computer. Okay, another type is code injection. Basically, what we're doing here is we're injecting malicious code to execute on host and infecting other hosts. To make a long story short, it's basically the most frequent example of code injection is a virus. A virus is attached to an executable file and is spread through infected floppy disk, email attachment, and macros. We also have a worm, which replicate over the internet. A worm is like a virus, but it's very different from it in the fact that it basically propagates using the network, using the internet network. Another type of code injection is spyware, which is downloaded from malicious websites, not regular websites, malicious websites. Threats, almost everything, because code injection basically changes what you're supposed to load. So if I want to load Word and instead I'm loading a virus can do almost anything on my computer, starting from erasing legitimate files or erasing even my master boot record, which means that my operating system would not reboot. So this is what I mean by everything. OK, so let's see a little bit about exploiting flaws. Exploit software vulnerabilities to penetrate systems. So when we gave the example of the Code Red worm, it was an example of a buffer overflow. A buffer overflow basically means that I have some block of memory dedicated to run a file, to run an application. And a buffer overflow, it means that I don't have any room left. So a lot of hackers uses the buffer overflow attack to do the attack over the buffer. So they fill the buffer with legitimate traffic, and when they extend the buffer, there's the attack. We also have mobile code security flaws. Mobile code, it means that, like interface program like Java and ActiveX, which is in the web, one way to load an application is using Java or ActiveX. Think of a chat website that basically loads an application. It's called mobile code. So I can plant in the Java or the ActiveX some kind of malicious code. We also have bad human engineering, which is Unix administrators login or SendMail or any type of bad human engineering. One example for it would be short password. Like my password for the domain I'm logging into is 1234. So it's bad human engineering because anyone can guess this password. We also have knowledge spreads faster than the remedy. We have all the hackers are like a tight group that it's like a family. They have hacker bulletins. They have advisories. They have a lot of websites dedicated to what hacker discovered on unpatched systems and stuff. We also have a legitimate advisories created by legitimate organization, such as the CERT organization, which was developed by the NSA, and it basically publishes flaws and the backdoors or vulnerabilities to websites or operating systems, but the hacker reads the advisory and knows what to do now to hack the system. We also have publicly available software kits to detect known vulnerabilities. Once again, this is a software that was created for the good kind of people, but the hackers uses it to create a bad vibes on the internet. Like we said, they are not always followed readily and are often used to take advantage of the advantage of the hackers. We also have public available hacker kits on the net. I can download on the internet a lot of hacker kits that I can use against websites. This is what's called script kiddies, like kids that don't really understand what they're doing, but they have an application that they download on the internet. They put the destination IP address or the destination website and press play and basically attack the web server. OK, another type of hacker tools is password and key cracking. You can do it through various ways. We have most of the passwords nowadays are comprised of names, phone numbers, and etc. They did a research and they discovered that the password of most workers is family names or a social security number or an ID number or their phone number combined with their name, etc., etc. So this is a guessing game. So I need to social engineer with the guy I want to attack, and I get his family name, I get his kid's name, and then I'm able to guess the password. Another type of password and key cracking is dictionary attack. So let's say my password to the system is umbrella, and I want to compromise the system. So I have a dictionary attack tool that basically has all the Oxford or Webster dictionary and try every single type of word with uppercase or lowercase and to hack the password. Another type of password and key cracking is exhaustive search. In exhaustive search, what we have is a brute force attack. It basically uses every single option I can use as a password. Let's say I have a 2-digit password, so we use AA, AB, AC, AD, AE, etc., 01, 02, 03 until I get the correct passwords. This is called a brute force attack or exhaustive search. We also have the Kocher sentence. It basically says that in the future, the computers will be so fast that we'll be able to discover key by the time it takes to encrypt with it. This is like almost a paradox, but they say in the future it will happen. We have fault injection, which is cracking smart cards. Basically, it means that, let's say we have a credit card and we can duplicate the credit card or try to crack the password of the credit card or the smart card, which is a type of a credit card. Okay, another type is social engineering. Social engineering, I'll give you an example. I call the secretary of an organization and I tell her or him that this is, we're calling from the help desk and we want to check that your password is in accordance to our policy. So please give us your username and password and we'll tell you if it is. And most of the people that they'll hear that we're from the help desk would want to cooperate. So this is called social engineering. Like I'm impersonating, I'm spoofing a real system. I'm saying I'm from this and this, I'm from help desk, I'm from information technologies, please give me this information. We do it in login screens, in phone numbers, in ATMs. There's a funny story that happened in Chicago that a person put like a fake ATM on the street. People put in their credit card and type their passwords, and then they basically said that we have a temporary service lockdown, please try again later. And they took away their credit card and went. But the hacker had their PIN number, had their password to the credit card. So later he can use it to take out some money. We can also spoof a service. Spoof a service, which we said is stealing credit card numbers and PIN, which we can do if we call the person, we say, we're from the credit card company, please give us your details. We are doing some maintenance work. Please log in here and give us all your credentials. Or we can steal passwords and etc., etc. An agent in the middle attack is basically a man proxying a connection. By that, party A, which talks to party B, don't even know that someone is sniffing or listening in between. And when A talks to B, C intercepts the message and basically sends the message to B, and B does not know that it's actually C talking to him. It knows that it's A and talking to him, and vice versa. Okay, so now let's talk about hacker classification. There's various types of hackers. In Las Vegas, they have conventions of white hackers, of black hackers. Let's see what basically they vary. They even get insulted if you call a white hacker, if you